Well, it went very fast. I mean, he does the first scene where the character comes around the corner, and I mean, it just struck me how convincing. I mean, how good an actor. I mean, after all, he's a professional. Just how wonderful an actor he is. He comes around and he, you know, I was holding a fireplace poker, and he wasn't comfortable saying, you know, put down the fireplace poker. It just sounded kind of funny, so he said, you know, put down the stick, which was a good thing because later on the next day when we went to go back to recreate those scenes from the camera director, we couldn't find the fireplace poker anywhere. Andy had moved it to a place that we didn't see him moving it to. So it was quite fortuitous that Joe changed the line to put down the stick because the only other thing available of any consequence to hold to defend oneself was a cane.
A wooden cane, yeah.
So it was perfect. I remember when we were shooting that part of it, I brought the poker down really quite slowly, and so he repeated his lines with more emphasis, and it was actually for a moment kind of scary actually, because he was holding his fake gun. And I had no problem believing that he was going to shoot at that moment.
Well,
he was quite convincing.
Oh, sure, and certainly, I mean, when you see the film, especially close-ups of him, I mean, he has, Tracy's, last night, yesterday I did a rough cut of the film for the first time, and Tracy and I, my wife and I, watched it. And one of the things she said about Joe was, does he always look like that in terms of his eyes? He looks, you know, he has this kind of look like he's
very intense.
You know, very intense look on in his eyes. And I mean, that worked great for his character and for the part. So I mean, and he was, a lot of times he was staring right at you, even though I shot all of the reverse angles of Randy the next day. So, you know, we didn't spend time with Joe doing that. Randy was there beside the camera so that Joe could look at Randy during the scene. So, I mean, he was, for the most part, looking, staring right at you, you know, with those eyes.
That was really kind of scary. I don't know what line he did, which part of that. I mean, I'm sure I'll recognize it when I see the tape at some point, but there was at one point where he delivered some kind of line, and I was standing next to the camera, and he delivered it in such a creepy manner that it was unnerving. It scared me a little bit because for him to do that, he was supposed to be looking at me, and he was making, you know, direct eye contact in this very convincing manner, saying all these terrible, spooky things. I thought, well, I can't be rude and just, you know, look elsewhere because I'm being creeped out by this. I have to keep looking at him so that he knows that I'm reacting to it. And he does this lines, I'm thinking, oh God, this is scaring the hell out of me. I mean, it's thoroughly convincing. I mean, this really wonderful performance.
This is a place of lost souls and evil thoughts. Evil attracts evil. There's been many murders here. I tried to stop them, but they're too powerful.
So we finished shooting, and then I did a quick interview with him because right when it was perfect timing, right when we were done shooting, Andy came in and said, okay, the grill's ready, we can start dinner. Okay, great. Let's do a quick interview with you, Joe, and then we'll go eat. So we did the quick interview. He had a great interview. Again, he did the joke twice. He did once on the set and once in the interview where, you know, it's so, I mean, again, it's so hot in there. We're all sweating like there's no tomorrow. And he's patting his face and sort of goes, gee, is there a really, what do you say, a really bright sheen on my face? You know, obviously for Martin Sheen.
Before we started filming at all, when we came into the living room, before we did the first shot where we were trying to figure out what we were going to do, I kind of turned to him and I could see that there was this really heavy perspiration on him. I said, would you like a towel? I mean, you look like you're uncomfortable. He said, what's the matter? Is there a sheen? Yes. Should I get a towel? You want to wipe your face?
No.
You're sweating.
I think that Woody, you want to get that sheen off my face?
I wasn't implying.
Thank you. Thank you.
I in no way was suggesting anything. Not whatsoever.
Wait till you use that line, for God's sake. Hey, thanks for the cue. Okay.
I think you had a still picture, I think, of that moment or something because we were.
No, I have it on
Because
both videotapes. I have it on
because
both
we were
cameras.
laughing, I guess that.
Oh yeah, yeah,
afterwards.
you're right. That is, but it's so blurred, you don't really see.
Yeah,
it.
that's the
And
end
then the other
result of that.
still I do have is the community theater picture.
Yeah,
The theater for a community theater. And
that
it's
was that was funny.
like, that
Yeah,
looked like
that's-
total
I
overacting.
mean, I didn't expect, I didn't expect how funny he was going to be. Between, he could go from very serious to what we were filming, to being just very funny, and he was still funny. I mean, we asked him to pose, if you could take a picture
All
of him,
three of us
and he
together.
says this thing about, do you do rabbit ears or?
Do you want
or-
rabbit
or
ears?
Do you want rabbit ears? And I thought, no, no, he's not serious.
And he's in between us and right as the picture is taken.
He puts up his hands like that.
Yeah.
I thought, I can't believe it. I'm standing here with Joe Estevez, and he's doing rabbit ears.
Yeah.
I mean, that was surreal.
And then we went and
that
ate
was really
burgers
fun.
and brats with him, and he seemed to
Yeah.
enjoy it. And we ended up sitting until like 10 o'clock at night outside as the sun went down, talking with him.
He talked about how his daughters hadn't seen, two of his daughters had never seen fireflies, and that was great because here we are sitting out there, and gradually fireflies start appearing everywhere, and you could see that he was just loving that. I mean, at some point he even made a comment, about seeing those, and that was great. I was so happy that he could, just rest and experience something, because he made comments about living in Hollywood, that everything is so noisy and so busy, and that it's not that kind of restful little circumstance. So I'm really glad that I don't know if he enjoyed any of the shooting at all, or liking the performances that anyone did, but I think he earnestly enjoyed that part, which I'm very happy for.
That's
everything?
fun.
That was everything was Joe. Yeah.
Yay!
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice working with you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Nice
sir.
working with you, Mark.
Nice working with you.
Hey,
That's
man,
great.
you're a win.
Oh, you know what?
The experience with Joe was just great. Words can't describe how great that was. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's kind of a milestone in my life. That's something I'm always imagine, even as, there's those difficult things. It was just a wonderful experience to meet him and
To work with him.
and work with him. I think I just, I wish my brother could have been there to meet him and to see all those things,